feel really clear. I feel like I've been sleeping really well. This is my video journal. It's not intended to be advice or guidance. I'm just expressing what I'm thinking and feeling in the present moment. That goes for all the journals, even when I forget to say that. That's like my intent, is just to share what I'm thinking and feeling. I don't want it to be anything. Oh, man. They're kind of turning into like a list of all of the things that I'm excited about. There's so many different ways that I do journals, but sometimes I get into like a rhythm or a cycle, and I just kind of make the same thing over and over again, because I'm like, it's like it's a continuation almost. Like I want to continue that aspect of the story, I guess, which is kind of good, because if it was just totally random, you know, you want a bit of a story arc. It's like any kind of TV show that you would watch. Like, you know, TV shows where every episode, like the characters just kind of all reset, and like it's like none of the other episodes for the rest of time mattered. Like you could not see any other episode, and if you tuned in today, it's fine. Like it starts from the beginning. Like everything is set up all over again. Like some of the journals are like that, and then other journals are like, you would be just watching like, what the hell is going on right now, if you didn't have like all of the context from like all of the different journals before that. I try to do that far less, because like back in the day when I first started journaling, and it really, really was just for me, I would just like jump on and start talking about all this stuff with absolutely no context, and it would just be like, I know what I'm talking about, so we're good. But now, because I understand that people are actually tuning in and watching, which like when I first started, I didn't even expect that. I'm like, okay, so if I'm going to talk about something, like set the scene, paint the picture. And for now, I don't think this really needs any context. I'm just talking about stuff. So it's like one of those episodes, like I said, where the characters just reset and you can understand what's going on in the present moment, because it doesn't have any backstory to it. There's a lot of backstory here. A lot of storylines that you could trace back through the journaling, and some crazy synchronistic moments that will only make sense if you see the entire storyline of, like, not every single journal, but all of the journals in that particular story arc, I guess. It's fucking interesting to see like your life become like a sitcom kind of television show thing. It's just a journal. It's just a vlog. Remember the word vlog? I forgot the word vlog existed. That's what these are, isn't it? This would be called a vlog. I call them video journals, and I always have. And the next thing that I'm working on is external video journals, which I'm thinking it will be a whole separate channel, because I'm working on this whole thing at the moment, giving people like the 9 keys to developing and marketing a successful brand. And key number 1 is don't ever change. Like, make sure that you, like, whatever you set out to do, you're going to continue to do it. So the reason I'm saying that is because I'm going to start these new video journals, and they're going to be capturing moments and experiences of the external world, like what I'm actually seeing through my vision. So it's almost the inverse to the journals that I'm doing right now in the present moment. This is an internal journal, like what I'm thinking and feeling is being expressed, whereas these external journals are going to be capturing like moments and experiences, and I'm not going to say shit. Like, it's just going to be, the story is going to be told through what I choose to capture and how I choose to present those captures. They're going to be edited. It's not going to be like just, it's a whole new style. Like, it won't just be like this, where we've been talking for 5 minutes non-stop. These external journals are going to be like carefully constructed, or like not carefully, but like constructed with love and mindfulness, like to really share a story of like a journal entry visually of an experience that I've had. And I'm getting really excited about that. The first time I did it is on this channel. It's called, I think it's called It's All the Little Things, if you search that. And that's the first time that it just happened organically. I was just like, I don't want to talk today. I just want to be. And I just like filmed, I turned the camera around the other way and filmed just all these beautiful things. And it was one of the most beautiful days of my life. And I was like, why don't I do this all the time? And then I just continued living my life until recently when I had another beautiful day like that. And I was like, this is what I need to do. I need to do videos like this. And I was like, oh, that doesn't really suit any of the YouTube channels or any social media that I've set up. And then I was like, I don't care. I'm going to do a new dedicated channel just for that, just to share those beautiful experiences. Because it's very inspiring. And I'm that fast with my video processing and editing and everything now that it doesn't take a great deal of time. Like back in the day, to make what I've made, like to make a video like this that I make in like a day now, it would have been like weeks maybe of just like fiddling around with like getting it all right. But now it's just like this flow where I just know like the video almost makes itself, and I'm just like kind of making sure it all falls into place, like just guiding the pieces to fall in. It's like I'm not actually, it's not this like really analytical like process where I'm like thinking heaps and wondering if is that right or is that wrong. It's just feel, like I'm really going with feel, and it just makes everything so much more rapid and makes it actually better. Like you end up with these incredible things that you would never like do if you weren't just like playing and feeling. It's like, wow, that looks really cool. And like you're surprised, you're looking at your content like, oh, wow. And I think that's really art. I think that's what art is. Like I've been trapped in this like obsessive, compulsive way of being, and like this anxious way of being, and all those things from my past that I'm no longer, like, it's no longer a part of me. And now I'm like, whoa, this is what it's like to be an artist. Like, this is what it's like to be a human being. Like that's what I mean. Like I'm this new way of being. It's just like, yeah, easy peasy. Like why are we trying to think everything when we can just feel our way? And it just works when we do it that way. Use your brain a little bit. Like you do think, but like it's a sort of it's a supplementary act to think and to analyze. It's not like that. Your core is heart, like feeling, emotionally driven, and you go with that, and then your mind is really there to fact check and guide, like, and just make sure that like the process is running correctly. Like that's how I'm really feeling about my body and like my vehicle, like my experience of being human now. And it's cool to be able to articulate it too, because like that's another thing. Like the reason why I can articulate right now and I'm so good at communication is because I thought you had to be able to use your brain. Like, and I've practiced it incessantly, like for years and years. I've been doing these video journals every single day, like practicing how to articulate my thoughts so that they can be clear and people can understand what I'm saying. When like all of a sudden these new journals have come through where I'm capturing moments and experiences out there where I don't have to say anything, I don't have to understand anything, I just feel it, and I know when people watch it they'll feel it too. It's like this, it's a shortcut. It's just like, what are we doing trying to explain everything? What are we doing with all these gurus and like you know, people running off all over the world romanticizing other cultures and all these like turning all these like things that are actually ingrained in people's blood and in their DNA, and like that it's really important to them, turning it into these fairy tales and like, you know, all these oh man, I don't even want to pass judgment, but I was gonna say like white dudes with dreadlocks that are coming back from India thinking that they're like now enlightened and all that kind of thing. Like, why are we doing all that stuff? Why are we trying to think shit? Like, why are we trying to comprehend? Why are we trying to like conceptualize and put everything in a box and then say, I understand this box? Like, it's like missing the whole point. Like, why aren't we just feeling? Like, I see a beautiful waterfall glistening with like, you know, in the sunset light that's coming through, and all the reflected green light from all of the aliveness of the forest, and you see that, and we both know, we both feel like it's all there, and it's all shared. Like, we don't need all these concepts and all of this shit that we're all talking. Like, we don't need any of it. And it's like a paradox, because all I care about is communicating. Like, it's my thing that I've chosen to master in life, is communicating effectively and being able to articulate. But maybe me articulating that particular way right now in the present moment is the thing that someone just has that light bulb moment where they just let go, and they're just like, all I need to do right now is get to the rainforest and just sit down and be quiet, and then that's it, done. Of course, it's not really. It's like an important experience I believe we all need to continue to have, like this connection to that place inside of us and that place on this planet with nature and all of that. But yeah, there's still the dilemma of living in a system and like living in a matrix, you know, and you know, everybody, you gotta, like, it isn't that simple. But I think returning to that place and remembering that place and not living in the system world and the place where you have to be analytical and use your brain and like think things through and like just, you're really stuck in your mind. Like, man, you just got to get away and just remember your heart and remember your spirit and remember like you don't need thought or words or concepts or anything in that place. It's like a time out. It's like a recharge. It's a relax. It's like a place where you can just like get back to yourself. And then when you come back, like your brain's had a rest too, so it's going to think better anyway. Like, so I'm kind of going in down a different fork in the road there with what I was originally saying, but you know what I mean? It's all special and important. I love all the different ways that I express. Like now having the journal where it's going to be moments and experiences of the external, having the journal where I articulate what I'm thinking and feeling in the present moment like I am right now, and having my main channel where it's discussions and documentaries, and it's like, you know, all the stuff that I can't really put in a box. It's all, the box that it is put in though is like mental health and well-being and like healing, but like everything outside the mainstream. So it's like challenging, like the idea that we need this homogenized mainstream singular way of dealing with the ailments that human beings develop when they have imbalances and they get out of balance. And that's often called mental illness. Like, but it's just imbalance. It's just like something that needs to be understood and brought back into balance. That's in almost all cases, or it's something that's not being understood or comprehended by mainstream science and medicine, and we need to get back to traditional knowledge and look at the metaphysical, the invisible world, and acknowledge it, not just pretend that it's all chemical reactions in your brain, you know. Like, I just have no patience left for mainstream approach to anything. It's just, and the reason, it's not like there's this mainstream thing that exists, right? And it's not like there's no particular entity behind like the big picture, you know. There's a bunch of different entities involved, like business entities, government entities, interdimensional entities, or interdimensionals. Like there's a bunch of different things going on. But it's like the mainstream is the mainstream because it's like the lowest common denominator type thing. Like it's the simplest, or actually it's the most complex thing that everybody can get on the same page with. So anything that's going to be too much to comprehend for the majority of people is never going to be mainstream, because mainstream is like the level that we can, like the majority of people can understand and comprehend and deal with. So like it's not like this mainstream thing is an enemy that we've got to beat. It's like we've just got to continue to strive beyond that level that the majority's at and keep pushing and exploring and coming up with, going deeper and evolving as human beings, and making what we discover known and sharing the new possibilities that we discover with as many people as possible so that they can access it. Because like, if we just wait for everybody to get on the same page, if we wait for things to become mainstream, nothing would ever happen. It would stagnate. It's actually, we need pioneers and like people to go beyond and like explore and, you know, challenge the prevailing structures and systems. And yeah, if you're questioning everything, you're doing the most important work, because if nobody was doing it, everything would stay the same, and stagnation is worse than anything. That leads to annihilation. Like, if we just stayed the same and while everything continued the way that it's going, like, problems keep emerging. If we just kept throwing the same solutions at them and that the problems are evolving and we're not, that's not going to work. Like, we need people to continue to evolve with the emerging like challenges of the day. So that's totally unrelated to all that thing I said about like getting back into your heart. But is it? Because like, I think getting back into your heart is one of the most important things that we need to do to challenge the prevailing systems and concepts and structures, because all of it's analytical and using the mind and ticking the boxes on the little chart that says like, if you tick all these boxes then you're fucked up. Like, it's just silly. Like, even the idea, like the picture of somebody suicidal going to a hospital, filling out a form and then taking a seat for a few hours. Like, your heart knows that's not right. Like, your heart knows that. Everybody's heart knows that. Even the person that's administering the treatment or administering this, or even doing the documentation of the paperwork, their heart is saying this isn't right. Well, the person in front of them's heart is saying this isn't right, but our brains are saying, but this is the rules. Like, this is what we do. This is the system. This is what we've subscribed to, and this is just how it is. But like, thankfully, there's people in the world that are like, my heart's smarter than that. Like, and I'm going to listen to the heart, because it's saying like, we need to be more compassionate. We need to be more available. We need to be more human and more emotionally connected. And we don't need to like put these walls up between us. Like, I can deal with your trauma. I can deal with your pain. I can give you a hug. Like, I can let you in to my world. Like, I'm not scared of your pain. Like, because I know that like the deepest, darkest depths of myself. I know the deepest, darkest depths of what I'm capable of experiencing. And I've been to those deepest, darkest depths. So like, I think that's the power in it. Like, when I look you in the eye and I tell you you're going to be okay, I mean it, because I know that you're going to be okay, because I'm okay. And it lives inside of me too, or I've experienced it too. And like, that's heart. That's heart. It's so simple. And you know it. Like, everybody knows it, everybody has it, but we're all listening to this. I'm talking with this right now, kind of. Like, it's like the heart is like, maybe that's why I've worked so hard to develop my communication skills, because maybe the next level of it is like, my heart can actually communicate. Like, I'm figuring out what all of this stuff that's inside of me, what my heart is trying to say, because we're so good at what our head says. But like, I think when people are really resonating with what I'm saying in these videos and they're like, I don't know how you do that. People are always saying, I don't know how you do that. I think it's not my head. I think it's my heart. I think I'm actually somehow translating heart into language. Like, it's a little bit of heart and mind. I can feel that in the present moment. It's like swinging between, but it's a lot of heart. It's a lot of spirit. It's a lot of like, this is the truth. Like, this is like what we need to look at, instead of like just thinking about shit. So if that lands, please click the like button for me and pass it on to somebody you know who needs to hear this. Subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the links in the description, because that's all the cool stuff that all of my offerings for the world that like I want to contribute. I want to help people.